Hello everyone, my name is Caitlin, and this is the 25 bookish facts about me. Don't know if anyone cares, but I'm still new and thought I would introduce myself a little more. And yeah, let's just get started. As a child, my favorite book was Which Witch is Which by Pat Hudgens. I took it out of the library all the time when I was younger, and I actually have it from the library now because I'm doing an English assignment for it. Surprisingly, it's a children's literature class. It's a picture book. This book is adorable, and I highly recommend it for anybody who has anyone between the ages of 3 or 5 or anyone who loves picture books. It's so cute. I was in a book-related competition 2 years in a row, grade 3 and grade 4, and it's basically a reading competition, so you had to read 12 books from a list. They give you the list, you can't just pick any 12 books. And you have to answer questions on them, and then if you make the team, then you get to answer questions about them some more against other teams from other schools. And the farthest I've gotten was the first round. So I made the team first year, we didn't win. Second year, I got a medal for it. But the first year is still my biggest accomplishment in life because I was the youngest person on the team. Yay me. My favorite series is the Selection series by Kira Cass. However, my least favorite book from the series is everyone else's favorite book. Yay, unpopular opinion. My favorite book overall is actually not from the Selection series, but it's by Kira Cass, and it is The Siren. Look at this gorgeous cover. I don't want to talk about it too much because I might actually end up doing a video about this book alone, maybe in the new year. But I love it. Go check it out. My Hogwarts house is Ravenclaw. If I had to pick a hybrid house, I would pick Slytherin. Speaking of Harry Potter, I don't think I ever finished Chamber of Secrets. I remember reading half of it and not the whole thing. Sorry. I'll get to it eventually, I promise. I'm planning on rereading the whole Harry Potter series at some point. But yeah, I don't think I finished it. Also, speaking of Harry Potter, I've been to King's Cross in London. I think everyone in Europe has been there already, so it's not really yay exciting, but I'm from Canada, and my friend and I didn't plan on going to King's Cross specifically. We were in London, we went to the zoo, and then we met up with my cousin at the zoo, and when we finished, we didn't know what to do. It was like 2 in the afternoon, and we're like, well, now what? Do we just explore? And I remember there was a sign, platform 9 3/4 sign. I read about it somewhere, so it's like, hey, we can go check it out, maybe take a picture of it. And they had a souvenir shop, so I got a sorting hat necklace. I don't know if you can see that, but it's my favorite bookish merch ever, and I will treasure that memory. That was a fun day. Cinder by Marissa Meyer may have converted me to science fiction. I can't confirm that because I haven't read more science fiction. We'll see in the new year, but Cinder was really good, and yeah, I might be on board with more science fiction books. If you have any more recommendations, let me know in the comments. I'm looking for more books to read that aren't just fantasy and contemporaries. I was in a 7-year reading slump. It's a long reading slump. I think I read one book in that 7 years. Actually, hold on. I'm pretty sure this is the only book I read while I was in either high school. I was in university when I read it, but I didn't read for all of high school. And this is the only book I read in university, my first degree. It's an amazing book, by the way. It's by Felicia Day. It's a memoir. I don't know the difference between autobiography and a memoir, just so you know, but this was an amazing book. But yeah, 7 years. That was a long time. And now that I'm in university again, I don't plan on going back into a reading slump, which is why I've been reading more than one book at a time. If you saw my last video, I had 3 books in my currently reading pile. Yeah, I'm not going back into a reading slump. I don't care. Slightly ashamed to admit this one, but I've watched more movies before reading the books. Sorry. It was the reading slump. I basically replaced books with movies because I could multitask during movies. I could do my homework at the same time as I was watching something. So did I ever really watch it? Who knows? But yeah, I watched a lot of movies, and some of them just happened to be from books. The only series I can think of where I actually read all the books first, because I read them in middle school, was Twilight. I still haven't actually finished the last Twilight movie now that I think about it, but I've read all the books. I enjoyed the books at the time. I'll maybe reread them again in the future to see if I still like them, but hey, I read the books before the movies, yay! I am one of those people that tends to judge a book by its cover. More commonly though, I actually more judge it by the title, because when I'm browsing through bookstores, I look at the sides, and if the title catches my eye, then I'll look at the back of the book. But if the books are displayed on a table, then I'm obviously looking at the covers. So sometimes, yeah, I'm a judgy person. I need to work on that too. 9 times out of 10 ish. Okay, most of the time, I tend to love the sequel more than the first book. Not always, there are exceptions. I consider myself a slow reader because even if I love the story, I get distracted. I don't know how my mind just wanders, and then I have to reread a page 3 times before I finally understand what I just read. And it makes me sad. I don't want to be distracted while I'm reading. And I don't want to be slow. I want to read faster so I can read more. One of the things that's helped though, and I think I mentioned this already in this video, I definitely mentioned it in the last one, but I have started reading 2 or 3 books at a time, and it's actually helped me read more overall. Sometimes when I read just one book at a time, I don't always go back to it. For example, I was reading A Court of Mist and Fury, and it took me 3 weeks to read it because I wasn't reading other books at the same time. So I was just reading that book, and I didn't have the same motivation to read it because it messed me up mentally and emotionally. It's just I couldn't handle it, and so I didn't have the motivation to read it. So I just wasn't reading for 3 weeks, and ugh. So now I've been reading more books so that if I don't feel motivated to read one, I'll just go to a different one and then come back later. Another thing that's helped me read more, this one hasn't been as perfect, I'm working on it, still it's a progress, but I've been making reading page goals for myself. So I'll look at the back of the book very carefully, look at the back of the book, and take the last page number, divide it by 7, and I give myself a week to read a book. And so I'm like, okay, I only have to read 80 pages today. I can do that. I can read 80 pages from this one book, and then read 100 from the next one, or 50 from the next one. And then hopefully by the end of that week, I have finished the book. I have a really hard time not finishing a book, though. Like I said, it took me 3 weeks to read A Court of Mist and Fury because I was determined to finish that book. Even if it took me 2 months, I was going to finish that book. I don't tend to DNF a book if I'm more than 3 chapters into it. During my reading slump, I still sometimes bought books and then didn't read them. So I've been trying to go to the library more often and read the books first and then buy them if I enjoyed them and if I know I want to reread them in the future. Not perfect. There are books I have bought and still plan on buying, even though I haven't read them yet. Speaking of the library, I have 2 library cards. I have my one from when I was 5 years old from my hometown that I lived in for like 15 years. And then I just moved, so I have one for here. And you're probably thinking, why do you need 2 library cards? Like, that's not exciting. I can get ebooks for both. And one library doesn't have some books and the other library doesn't have other books. I can have access to more books. Yay! Speaking of libraries, I have also worked in a library. It was my college library. I worked there for 5 semesters, not in a row, but 5 semesters, and it was my favorite job ever. And I've also volunteered in school libraries when I was a student and as an adult. I seem to like libraries, don't I? They're fun places. I am Canadian, and I can only name 3 Canadian authors. There's a lot of shame going on in this one video. I know Lucy Maud Montgomery, because everyone knows Anne of Green Gables. I know Kelly Armstrong, even though I haven't read her books yet, but she's on my list. And Heather Fawcett, which I have her book and I haven't read yet. So I know 3 Canadian authors, and I have only read one of them. Good job, Caitlin. I would like to read more classics in the future, like Jane Austen. I'm reading Pride and Prejudice for one of my other classes, and I love her. Um, I'm just not motivated right now to do it for recreational leisure time. I'd rather read the young adults right now. I do want to expand my horizons, I swear. I'm not just saying that, but I'm reading classics for school. I don't want to read classics for fun as well. I'll wait. I have taken 2 children's literature courses, 2 different universities. That's why they let me take it again. And they are also different levels. One was 200, one was 300. I really want a book-related tattoo. or 10 or 20. You know, I want all the bookish tattoos. I have 2 tattoos at the moment. They're not book related. I've wanted more for the last 3 years. It's how long it's been since I've gotten a tattoo. I have a few ideas. Probably have half a dozen different ideas of what I want. I just need more money. So yeah, I need money for books. I need money for tattoos. I need money for book conventions. It's, and school. That's why I tuition. Okay, there's a lot of shame and a lot of pity. We're almost done. I promise. This is the last one. Finally, the last bookish item is my biggest dream, which is to become a published author. My goal should be to first finish a novel, though. I'm working on it. I'm working on writing a novel. It will happen at some point. It's probably not going to be next year, but the dream is still alive. I've had this dream since I was 13. I'm 23, almost 24. It will happen. It will happen. We're going to end on a positive note with hope. It will happen. So that's it for 25 bookish facts about me. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to share any bookish facts about yourself, or if you've done this video already, leave a comment below. Tell me about yourself. I'm tired of talking about myself. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.